Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the Mar Project. Marichua here, and welcome to another episode of my book blog tie-in series called Baby Reviews Books. But for spoiler alerts, I'm probably going to change the name of the series and the book blog itself, but that's a story for another time. So as you can tell, the setup is a bit different. My hair looks slightly different because my bangs are overgrowing, but I will get a haircut this weekend. And also this evening as I film this because I am in a serious hurry, so I have to accomplish the book vlog by tomorrow. It is also the 14th of August here, so hopefully I will publish the vlog tomorrow by 15th of August, Thursday. So for today's episode, we will be tackling another well-known classic. Maybe not so well-known. Maybe you guys are familiar, maybe you are not. But if you guys have heard of Dante Alighieri's, and I'm pretty sure I butchered that name again, Inferno, well, Dante's your man. And I'm pretty sure you guys are also familiar with the video game series called Devil May Cry, which we will get into a little later. Also, I hope you don't mind, the setup is a bit different, the audio quality is a bit different again because I'm also wearing my AirPods. This is not sponsored, by the way, because my phone is charging as I film this and I do not want the battery to die out easily. So I hope you don't mind the audio changes again. So I am so sorry, Dante Sparda, my beloved. Sparda is not even his last name. People just headcanon it to be as such because of his dad. But it's time for a story. When I was in the 8th grade, much like when I was tackling Machiavelli's The Prince, we also heard about Dante Alighieri, a writer from the Middle Ages. So I will assume that Mac looked into the former's work as we transitioned later into the Renaissance period. Dante was known for his works on the Divine Comedy, or what I like to call the Trilogy of the Afterlife, starting off with Inferno, also called Hell, which is the subject of today's episode. There's the follow-up that is Purgatorio or Purgatory, and lastly Paradiso or Heaven. Naturally, as I got older, I was intrigued and interested to read these books and go back and forward in time to continue chasing after the good old classics. Pun intended, because this is literally the Collins Classics edition again, my beloved. But mainly because brainrot and delusions have consumed me, I could not read Inferno without thinking about, you know it, the iconic half-demon twins Dante and Virgil from Capcom's Devil May Cry franchise. I was never a gamer myself, and I also never played these games in my whole life. In fact, I only got into DMC or wanted to get into the series and learn more about, the game's lore itself, thanks to a bunch of bot recommendations I got on character.ai. Please don't ask me about that. Though a couple of years ago, a good friend of mine constantly kept trying to get me into the game or the game series, so much to my easily traumatized 16-year-old self's dismay. So thank you, Kian, if you are hearing this audio or watching this video or reading the post. I mean, we all know the whole game was inspired by the Middle Ages writers' books. Come on, a guy named Dante goes to the circles of hell with a poet named Virgil. Ain't no way, it's just a different spelling for the latter character. But still, that's how you know video games creative as hell, once, pun intended, once they base off their storylines from iconic books. And this is coming from a bookworm who also happens to be dating a gamer. Hello Jerome, if you're seeing this. What? I can't help but get a little bit personal here. It's pretty helpful for the vlog itself. So the book opens up with Dante, and I mean Dante Alighieri, who is also, what I say is a self-insert in the book. I don't know, but the main character is also named Dante, who is lost in a forest on a Good Friday in the year 1300. And why is it a Good Friday, you may ask? As a Roman Catholic myself, he descended into hell, and the third day he rose again in accordance with the scriptures. Navigating through dark forest, Dante encounters 3 beasts, a leopard, a lion, and a she-wolf. But please do not reference the song with Shakira, okay? Her hips don't lie. Each of these beasts represents something, a type of sin that would hinder Dante's path. The leopard represents fraud and deceit, which kind of reminds me of The Art of War by Sun Tzu. If you guys haven't seen the previous episode. The lion, meanwhile, represents violence and ambition. And I'm pretty sure this is where Machiavelli got the idea of the prince from. And lastly, the she-wolf unfortunately does not represent Shakira herself, but a lack of self-control. Although I guess these beasts did not plan on betting who could consume Dante first. They just appeared to him as warning signs of the obstacles he'll have to go through in the 9 circles of hell. Fleeing from the beasts, Dante encounters Virgil, spelled with an I, who reveals he was sent by Dante's beloved, Beatrice, on a quest to guide Dante towards heaven. Once they enter hell, they stand outside of what is called the Inferno, similar to a purgatory where lost souls are deemed as neither good nor evil. A ferryman helps them pass through and properly gain entrance to the real hell, starting off with the first circle, Limbo, which houses pagans including Virgil himself and many of the other great writers and poets of antiquity who died without knowing of Christ. If my philosophy 172 professor saw this video, he'd lecture me about why one must believe in God. And as a Catholic myself, that class slapped. So Dante continues into the second circle, Lust, where souls are blown about by a violent wind, symbolizing the restlessness of their lustful passions. Here, Dante meets other characters like Francesca, who had an affair with her husband's brother, or a monster called Minos, assigning those souls to their punishments with his swirly and curly tail. So his tail is kind of like this tornado spinny thingy of some sort, and I think I read somewhere, I think it was also Spark Notes, that the number of times that Minos swirls his tail around a person is the circle that they are assigned to. So for example, if the tail swirls like 9 times, they would be sent to the 9th circle of hell. In the 3rd circle of hell, gluttony, the souls lie in puddles of, and I am not kidding you, literal so you are what you eat, I guess. And in the 4th circle, greed, the avaricious and the prodigal are made to charge at one another with giant boulders. But let's not confuse these boulders with the myth of Sisyphus, okay? By definition, the avaricious and the prodigal are those who chase after extreme wealth and those who spend wealth recklessly, respectively. I don't know, I am a reckless spender, I'm admitting that. We learn of a river called the Styx in the 5th circle of hell, Wrath, which is described to, according to Spark Notes, as a swampy, fetid cesspool in which the wrathful spend eternity, struggling with one another. The sullen lie bound beneath the Styx's waters, choking on the mud. Dante spots, I hope I don't butcher his name, Filippo Argenti, a former political enemy of his that is being torn to pieces in wrath. Yeah, this was messed up. Bro took the biggest L of his life, and Dante said Rachel. Before Dante and Virgil reach the 6th circle, they stumble upon the walls of the city of Dis, it's spelled with a D-I-S, contained within the larger region of hell. At first, the demon guards refuse to let the duo in, but an angel messenger from heaven forces the gates to open anyway, allowing them to pass through heresy. Siri, play Heretic by Avenged Sevenfold. I hope my Siri did not hear that. It's like connected to my AirPods. With the heretics themselves, who are trapped in flaming tombs. Another political rival of Dante, Farinta, is encountered here. Through a deep valley, Dante then reaches the 7th circle, Violence. This one plays a slightly longer role in the book. Violence comprises 3 rings, the outer, middle, and the inner rings, or the 1st, 2nd, 3rd rings. Those found in the 7th circle are eternally swimming in a river of blood, and if that imagery does not send shivers down your spine, then I don't know what will, especially as somebody who ironically has a fear of blood. The duo meets other creatures like the centaurs, including Nessus, who can spell Nessus without sus, who introduces them to the suicides, those who were violent towards themselves in the 2nd ring of violence. There are also other characters like Pierre de la Vigna, one of the suicides. And there are also souls who are violent towards God or art, and those violent towards nature, like Dante's old patron, Brunetto Latini. I'm butchering all these names, I'm really sorry for that. And then there's also Monster, Geryon, that transport the dynamic duo into the 8th circle of hell, another lore-worthy expanding part of the book called I really don't know how to pronounce this, I'm really sorry about this one. Malebolgs or Malebolg. I really don't know, I'm just gonna say fraud, okay? I'm just gonna say fraud for like consistency, or the evil pockets or pouches, comprising the smaller groups of these souls like the panderers, seducers, simoniacs, astrologists, ouch, and the berators, or those who are accepting of bribes, and the hypocrites. There's also Caiaphas, the priest who confirmed Jesus' death sentence, who lies crucified on the ground. The other sinners threaten him as they walk, and lastly, there are also thieves who sit in a pit of vipers. For the thieves, once they're bitten by a viper, they must bite another thief to return to their old form. In the 8th pouch of fraud, Dante meets the hero Ulysses from the Homer's epics, who was doomed to being guilty of spiritual theft for his involvement in the Trojan horse. In the 9th pouch, the souls of sowers of scandal and schism walk in a circle, constantly affected by wounds that open and close repeatedly. Ew. In the 10th pouch, the falsifiers suffer from horrible plagues and diseases. As Dante and Virgil cross over to the 9th circle of hell, of treachery or the traitors, it's a giant frozen lake. Dante meets Count Ugolino, I hope I did say that right, who spent eternity gnawing on the head of a man who imprisoned him in life, or the three-headed giant Lucifer, an obstacle for the end of Dante and Virgil's journey through Inferno. Lucifer, also known as Satan, his frozen body pierces the center of the earth where he fell when God hurled him down from heaven, a reminder that God and Satan used to be best friends. Each of Lucifer's mouths chews on one of history's three greatest sinners. There's Judas, the betrayer of Christ, and Cassius and Brutus, the betrayers of Julius Caesar. Or as my 8th grade social studies teacher told us, it's Julius Caesar. Virgil leads Dante on a climb down Lucifer's massive form, holding on to his frozen tufts of hair. Eventually, the poets reach the river of forgetfulness, and travel from there out of hell and back onto earth. They emerge from hell on Easter morning just before sunrise. So this whole story just takes place in one day. Well, 2 days rather, because it's Good Friday, then Black Saturday. Now I got this whole bit from Spark Notes because it was just too epic of a conclusion, and me rewording it would be so boring. But that was the whole of Inferno, and what a wild ride for Dante and Virgil. It is through a glimpse of hell, in which the imagery scared me, where we learn more about human nature. Again, Mac and Sun Tzu are proud. There's also sin, themes of religion, justice, and redemption. Through Virgil's guidance, Dante embarks on a path to find where he truly belongs, to find his inner peace and reflect on his own behavior as a person. Which is ironic because in Devil May Cry, these two absolutely hate each other. Sometimes. But seriously, as terrifying as it probably is to end up in hell of all places, which reminds me of that one meme where short people will not go to heaven. And as a 5-footer myself, that makes me angry. Perhaps Dante found himself in hell as a means to redeem himself and transform from a person of sin into a person of salvation, which makes sense considering the book opened on a Good Friday, Jesus Christ's death and his descent into hell, but his resurrection and ascension on the 3rd day. As a Roman Catholic born and raised, this book slapped harder than my grades. Sir Valero, if you're hearing this, philosophy religion was super fun with 10 out of 10. Take it again if that was not against the rules of taking electives in school. Although this book is a mix of fiction, fantasy, and even philosophy, it is a lot more different than the last 2 books we tackled, which was non-fictional philosophy. This one tells a story and paints a picture in the same manner Mac and Sun Tzu did, but instead of being technical, Dante decided to transform his story into a work of poetry. And we love him for that! And I love you, my dear readers. Unfortunately for now, this has to be the last entry I'll be able to publish before I go on a long hiatus. However, I will still be around on occasion to post quick updates. But the next book reviews and analysis may come in a later period, perhaps once I've sorted out senior year and my thesis. So wish me luck, everyone. I'll miss you all. Until next time. So that is all I have for today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and also thank you as always to Spark Notes for helping me in this entry. I'm really gonna miss vlogging, especially for my book reviews, and as based on the number of times I have vlogged and also in my counting, this is actually the 11th episode, and I really did not know that the episode on Sun Tzu's Art of War was already like my 10th episode. Like, I did not think that I would publish a lot of vlogs in my channel this year, but hey, it helps to build my channel, to grow my channel, and even your small support of subscribing, liking, or sharing this video around helps a lot. So thank you so much for your support, your continued support, and if you're still new to the channel, A subscribe would be much appreciated, but if you're a returning subscriber, welcome back, and I'll continue to send updates your way. You can always hit the notification bell if you want to receive updates. There's personalized or all updates, or really if you just want to just wait until a video of mine shows up on your feed, well, that's totally fine by me as well. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. So this was Dante's Inferno. Until next time, I think I've said that for like the 5th time. This is Marichua of the Mara Project. I'll see you in the next video. Bye! So I hope you guys do not mind if I yap a little more. But as you can see, this is my entire Collins Classics collection, including Inferno. So I did some reorganizing of bookshelves the other day, and I was like, you know what, I'll just put all the Collins Classics books together, because why not? It's a sight to see, and I'm really happy that I've been building my library with Collins Classics, and also because these books are like extremely like worth the price of like just 125, some are 175, but I think most copies do not exceed 200 pesos. They're also really cheap, but they also offer like a lot of good insights. Sure, there are some books that are missing out on a lot of like extra content, but I think these books can do for now, because I really do not have to like do extensive research or extensive reading on the books from Collins Classics, at least by Collins Classics. But yeah, as you can see, I have the Jekyll and Hyde by Robert Louis Stevenson. There's also Persuasion from Jane Austen, which a friend of mine gifted to me last year. There is The Picture of Dorian Gray, The Phantom of the Opera, Scarlet Letter, Sherlock Holmes, Heart of Darkness, Animal Farm, thank you Jerome. There is The Selected Stories by H.P. Lovecraft. Of course, there's The Prince, which we tackled previously. There's also Art of War, and Inferno goes here. I also am currently reading another book called Dracula by Bram Stoker, but I don't plan to like blog it because it's very long. Also plan to like organize it based on like alphabetical order, but instead I'm the kind of person who orders the books in a unique way. I order these books in the year or time period I got them. So like, for example, Jekyll and Hyde was the very first Collins Classics book I got, while Dracula is like the latest Collins Classics book I got. So yeah, that is my collection. Thank you guys for watching, and yeah, bye bye.